what you gonna do, brother? Oh, yeah! Woo! What? What? If you smell what the rock... You got the wrong guy. I'm the dude, man.
All right, welcome everybody to Around the Turnbuckle. I'm the Big Alboski. That's Professor Keith. And we are trying to work the kinks out where our guest, is she with us? Chloe Rain, how are you?
I think we're getting there.
We're getting there. Fire and Water High. Chris Vant, what's up, big man? All right. So, scrolling along the bottom of your screen there, you have next Saturday, Keith. That's this Saturday, actually, is Triple What You Wish For, featuring this young lady right here and many others, including the main event, which is Always Ready Matt Cardona taking on Merrick Miami in Quakertown. If you don't have tickets, I'm pretty sure they're close to sold out. But if not, you can try to find them online. Look up WWWA on Facebook. Look up WWWA. Look up Dino Santa. And this is manager Chloe Rain. What's up, Chloe?
Hi, everybody. We are super excited for the show next week. It's going to be awesome. So much to see. We're actually setting up a day early because it's going to be a whole new arena, everything. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're excited to be a part of it. We're actually going to be in the front row. You know, we got our tickets back in July, back in the, back at the end of July when the thing was first announced, and we're so excited that we're going to be there. So let's talk about you, because when we're on this show and we have a guest, it's all about you, right? So let's talk about you, and that is, what made you fall in love with professional wrestling in the first place? Because let's face it, everybody in this room loves wrestling. You love wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I fell in love with wrestling as a kid. I remember my siblings are a lot older than me, and I remember watching the pay-per-view with my older sister, and most little kids had baby dolls. I actually had this big rubber Hulk Hogan that I carried around everywhere with me.
Wow, it's
I kind of got out of wrestling as I got older, and then I don't know what's going on with my connection.
Yeah, we're losing you on our end. Like after you talked about the big rubber Hulk Hogan, which by the way, I had all those big, but before they had the plastic guys, I had the big rubber guys. I had like a whole box full of them, Keith. But yeah, we're losing her. What I suggest you do, if you can hear me, Chloe, is get out of the StreamYard and go back in, and sometimes that fixes the problem.
Yeah, what? Oh, God, I'm kicking myself because I should know exactly what company that was that did it. Was it LJN?
It was Hasbro.
Was it Hasbro?
It was Hasbro.
Because the ones I'm thinking of, and I knew a guy in middle school that had like a whole collection of those. No problem, Mark. We know you were busy.
Yeah, Mark. My mom sold them all at a yard sale.
And probably got nowhere near what they're worth.
$1 a piece. $1 a piece.
Yeah, criminal. Because
I had like 30 of them, Keith. I used to have battle royals because that was before they were Royal Rumble. So I'd throw them all together and I'd have them fighting each other and end up. And it's a little secret. Macho Man used to win all the time. All right, here she is. She's back.
I'm shocked that was your finish. I really am.
The month?
Sorry.
You're so subtle.
I'm back.
Okay. So you had the action figures, you got into wrestling, you got away from wrestling for a while. What got you back in?
I actually went to one show at Q Mart. I just completely fell back in love with it. And show he was someone to do, and I figured, well, and I, introduce myself to him and see if he would mind sold his merchandise. Kind of went from there. He said, yeah, I was at every show with a lot of guys, one in particular, Tyler Sims. I proposed to him that, hey, you're a manager, liven up your presence when you come out on the ring and things like that. And we talked to Dino, and okay, that's fine. And started Dino and Tyler Sims kind of gave me my step in the
All right.
I wonder if
I don't know what's going on there, Keith.
Said about being able to join with like audio only or something. Maybe that would be better.
Yeah, I'm going to you talk for a minute. Keith, what I want you to talk about while I get her back is I want you to talk about last night's Outbreak event that we attended.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great show with Outbreak. As Mark Mass alluded to, we were out in Hamburg last night at the legendary Hamburg Field House. We did not see Mark, which we understood. Mark was in the back running the show, all that good stuff, and we certainly were not going to go back there and interfere with Mark and his, very important duties running the show. I thought it was a great show top to bottom. I thought we saw some future stars. Shout out to Matt Quay. Shout out to Tommy Vex. Had a wonderful match. Just when you talk about two guys that are paired together and are just meant to work with each other, Tommy Vex and Matt Quay all the way are definitely meant to work together. I thought that was one of the absolute matches of the night. The main event was great between Andy Header and I don't want to say the names wrong. Alan, can you give me an assist there? The Outbreak champion. No, Alan's having some moments there. I apologize that I can't recall names necessarily right off the bat. I do apologize to the talent. To be fair, this is a problem with me in my normal life as well. I'm very good at faces. If I've met you and I see your face, I know you. I just can't always recall your name. I apologize. That's a me thing. I mean, we saw some guys that are very up and coming. And it's another testament to how great the wrestling scene is in Pennsylvania and in the Northeast in general. This is what we talk about. Support the local shows and the local talents, because you know what, guys? You don't know who's going to break out, and they can't break out if their training schools, if their home promotions, if their training promotions cannot draw and cannot make it financially viable to do that. And think about this. You can't have Hulk Hogan if there was no school for Hulk Hogan to go to.
Can you hear him talking?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, Keith. I have Chloe Rain on the phone.
Okay.
So we're gonna try something a little different here. Chloe, say hi, and then Keith, you need to tell me if you can hear her.
Hi, Keith.
Hi, Chloe. I can hear her.
Awesome. There it is. All right, so we're gonna do Chloe Rain on the phone, which I'll put a banner on that. I'll try to be professional about it, and I'll put a banner on that says Chloe Rain on the phone, so people know who the hell we're talking to.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and I've never done that. So Go back to where you got back into wrestling because nobody heard any of that. Go back to the part where
I heard like every other word.
where you can see, and it kind of got you back into wrestling.
Okay. So I went to a show. It's coming up to like about 2.5 years ago now. And a live show was like nothing like I'd ever seen before, and I just completely fell back in love with wrestling. And I was going to shows pretty regularly, and I saw Dino had posted about needing someone to sell his merch, somebody he could, trust and rely on, and they'll be at every show. So I messaged him and said, Dino, I love coming to your shows. I plan on coming to all of them anyway, so I would love to sell your merchandise. You get to know the wrestlers, all of that. And so I started selling his merchandise, and then became friends with a couple of the guys, Tyler Sims being one of them. And he had been wrestling for many, many years, and I had talked to him about like merchandise and getting his name out there again. And I said, I wouldn't mind being your manager. And I threw a couple ideas out to him, and he was like, you know what? He was like, I would love that. If we talk to Dino and Dino's okay with it, we'll run with it. And that's what we did. And that was the start of Chloe Reigns.
That's awesome. So what about year was that? Was that before the pandemic? I mean, how long ago was that?
Yes, it was before the pandemic. It was about the start, I want to say, of 2019. So pretty close to right before the pandemic hit.
All right, so you got back into wrestling by go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, I just want to throw something out there quick. I love that you made your own opportunities. It sounds like you saw a niche. Dino says, hey, I need a merchandise person. You said, hey, I'm coming to all the shows. I'll do that. You make friends with Tyler Sims. You say to Tyler, hey, I could be your manager. Like, I love the initiative. I love that you saw opportunities and moments where you can insert yourself and do more and make your dreams come true, and you seized on those moments.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm kind of a seize the opportunity kind of person. So when I see, I can make something better by helping out and make, get my foot in the door and make things better, that's what I do. I just went to a seminar not too long ago because I am hopefully going to wrestle eventually. So I am training with the amazing Mark Mess up at the dungeon.
Our boy,
we love Mark.
So everything, if you believe in yourself and you want to do something, you have to take the initiative. You have to fight for yourself. Because if you don't fight for yourself, nobody else is going to fight for you.
I tell you what, I love
this interview, guys. Right there, that's the soundbite.
Yeah. And I also love the fact that you're not just settling for just kind of being part of the business. Like, you actually want to get like knees deep in it, right? You could easily just show up to these WWWA events, help Dino however you need to, manage whoever, wants to be managed at the time or whatever. You could just do all that and have fun with it, but you actually want to get in the ring, which is a dream of a lot of people that are, in the position of that. We love the business, but maybe we don't physically think we could do it, or maybe we just, don't want to take that extra step to get in the ring. You're taking that step, so we're kind of living vicariously through you.
Yeah, and you know what? If you told me this 3 years ago, I would have thought you were absolutely crazy. I never expected any of this, and I owe it all to wrestling, because all of my wrestling friends, people I train with, the people I work shows with, they all push me. They all, they want me to succeed. As much as I want to succeed, they know that, and they keep pushing me. Because, there's gaining, and, I'll feel defeated because I couldn't get something right, or, I didn't have the right footing, but I know know that in the end, even if it takes 3 years of training before I even see a match, like, I know that that's what I have to do, and I want to be, a wrestler. And that goes for, any of us. It doesn't matter if you're 18, coming right out of school, and, you've been training since you were 12, or if you're like me, I'm older. I'm not going to give out my age. A lady doesn't give out her age. But, I'm definitely older to just be starting this, but I love it. And, I don't want to give up, and I won't give up.
That's commendable. That's amazing. And Keith
was older too, and DDP won the WCW title, so you cannot say there's an age limit to this.
Yes, DDP was champion in his low 40s?
Low to mid 40s. Yeah.
Low to mid 40s, yeah. So there's some inspiration for you. Did you watch any wrestling besides the indie stuff, which you're heavily in as far as WWA is, and now you're getting involved with Mean Mark and the Dungeon and Outbreak most likely. Are you do you pay any attention to wrestling that's on TV, such as AEW or anything like that?
I have been trying to. Honestly, I have a lot of them on DVR. It's hard to fit TV into my schedule, but I do try to catch the newer stuff with AEW, with everybody coming back, and I've really been popping for the people that have been coming back. I don't watch it as much as I wish I could, but it is all DVR, so.
I only ask that because a lot of times we ask people who your influences are. And it sounds to me that in your case, your influences are the people that you work with already, right? It's the people like the people around you at WWWA, the people around you in the Dungeon.
Yeah.
And they're kind of building this fire in you that you're about to light the world on fire.
Definitely. I watch the guys and girls just in awe, and then I realized that some of the stuff that they're doing, I actually can do, and I've been doing in training. It just looks different on them doing it, So yeah, I mean, I look up to the guys that I work with so much, and I can't say anything bad about any of the guys at WWA, SWO, Outbreak. I mean, they all treat me like one of the family. If I ask for advice, they're always open to give me advice. I look up to all of them, honestly.
Let's talk about WWA before we talk about the Dungeon, because we have this Saturday, we got a big event on September 25th at the Q Mart. At the Q Mart, a lot of matches, and I'm sure you'll be there, and it's going to be an amazing event. But let's talk about what's been happening in WWA. As you well know, the Brick House Club has kind of exploded right in front of our faces, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of, in my mind, and Keith can correct me if I'm wrong, but in my mind, there's a lot of free agents floating around for the Chloe Rain. What would you call her? The Chloe Rain regime? I don't know what you call them. All right.
I like that. I do.
You have the Atkins boys, which are, they're really good, and very good.
Not insignificant pickup. The Atkins boys, I feel like any major promotion, all they got to do is see these guys, and they're ready to go. So that is a very significant signing for a manager to have those guys under contract.
So is there anybody that's now a free agent that might have caught your eye with you on the outside looking in here?
Definitely one or two that have caught my eye. I think they know who they are. One, I've watched him from the start at WWA and SWO, and I think he's absolutely amazing. And he is available right now, so I think me and him will be talking. But he's newly non-agent up, so I'll give him a little time to see what it's like not having a manager, and then maybe I'll try to sink my teeth into them.
I love that line, Keith.
Very smart. I mean, we're not getting any trade secrets here. We're getting the tease.
Yeah,
So
we're getting the tease.
We're going to have to keep watching.
Stay tuned.
We're going to see if this is going to come to fruition. That is good business sense right there.
You know, that's beyond your years there, Heidi. That's businesswoman sense right there. That's like having somebody out there and say, no. You want to find out what I got? Okay, you know what I mean. Tune in.
Exactly. There's gonna be lots to come for Chloe, and I hope that the guys can see that and they'll want to work with me. Again, I'm not pushing myself on anybody, so that's why these people or these guys that were with Brickhouse, and Brickhouse is a great guy. I'll never have a bad thing to say about him. We've worked together numerous times, in the ring, and he is a great guy. But everything has an end, and unfortunately for Brickhouse, his little club is falling apart.
Well, I mean, he seems to, like, we've talked to him recently. He seems to have a different an attitude. Me, I'm a guy who roots for the heels, right? So I like the new attitude. Yeah, if you ask me, I'm the guy that roots for the bad guys in movies, right? So like this new attitude, Brickhouse, I'm all in. But at the expense of his club disintegrating. So yeah, it's out there. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk a little bit about the dungeon and how you met Mean Mark Mest in the first place and how you got involved with them.
Okay. So this is probably about 2 years ago. My now ex used to wrestle, and he wanted to get back into it after we started going to shows and all of this. And actually, JT Cage goes to the dungeon and kind of introduced us to going up there. And I didn't start going up there until probably about a year and a half ago. And I kind of just messaged Mark, and I was like, hey, I manage, but, I want to be more comfortable in the ring. Even if I never, ever wrestle, it's important, and I've heard this from many people. Even if you're only ever going to manage, you should be trained in the ring, because anything could happen, and no matter where you go, safety is always the most important thing. Mark has instilled that in me. Anywhere you go, they're going to tell you safety is the most important thing. So I think everybody should train, or at least, know what it's like to be at a training center and, get a taste of just organized wrestling.
I agree with that 110%. You don't want to be in the situation of someone like a Mikey Whipwreck. And Mikey said, a lot of his physical problems right now are because when he started wrestling, he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know how to take bumps properly. He didn't know how to take moves properly. And he got a lot of injuries, he thinks, that he really didn't need to have if he had just slowed down a little bit and said, whoa, wait a minute, I want to do this, but I need to do this properly. I need to do this safely. So I'm really glad that you're putting that message out there of, hey, whatever you do, it's awesome to be part of this, but you've got to know how to do this safely. You've got to know how to protect yourself.
Exactly. And you know what I always say, everybody laughs at me, but I would feel horrible if I did something and hurt somebody else. I do want myself to be safe, but I'm more worried about whoever I'm in the ring with, because I don't know what I would do if I, accidentally hurt somebody in the ring. And it's wrestling; it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody knows that anything could happen once you're in that ring. But the more you're trained, the better, you can handle something if it would happen.
Exactly.
So how long you been training at the dungeon now in total?
I won't lie, I stopped for a good amount of months. I had some personal stuff going on, and so I've only been back, like very committed back. I want to say about 4 months now, 5 months now. I took I took a couple months off, kind of did some soul searching, talked to a bunch of people, and I came back and I talked to Mark and I said, look, I'm sorry I've been away for a while, but I've decided that this is truly what I want to do. Can I come back? And he welcomed me with open arms. Everybody there, welcomed me back, and I've just kind of been pushing forward since then.
That's awesome because that means that the passion for professional wrestling is in there, and so that's what keeps you in. Like in my case, and in Keith's case also, we used to hang out together, like maybe I don't know, as recent as 5 years ago, for every single WWE pay-per-view. We got together and we watched them together, right? And now those get-togethers are few and far between because we've kind of lost our love for WWE and we're trying to pay attention a little bit to AEW. And then the pandemic hit, and then we started doing this show, and it was just supposed to be a bunch of guys sitting around talking about wrestling. And what it has turned into is a place where independent wrestlers and rising stars and anybody who loves this business can come on here and let everybody know who the hell you are. And we've met and become friends with the Dino Santas, the JT Cages, the James Brickhouse, and then we go down to CCW with Rob Noxious and his bunch, or we go down to Outbreak last night in Hamburg, and everybody there was happy to see us. So it was great. It's great, and it's reignited a passion for this business that I was starting to lose, and I'm sure Keith was starting to lose. We were starting to get frustrated.
Probably much more so than you were. I mean, it's amazing, and I can't thank you guys enough for how much you let us in, and you talk to us like we're not just some marks that don't know anything. Like, you let us be part of.
Yeah, we're not crazy psychopaths trying to hunt you down.
Right. Like, you treat us like, knowledgeable fans. I have guys asking me how was my match, which is insane to me because it's like, why do you care what my opinion is?
Right. They're asking us our opinions on their matches. Like the Theo Ivorys and the Tony Batistas and the Merrick Miamis of the world will come to us.
Guys that I know are going to get signed. They're going to get signed somewhere. They're going to be gigantic stars.
Tony for sure.
You want to know what Tony will, Merrick going to. It's going to happen.
All three of them love watching their matches.
Yeah.
It's like artwork in the ring. Not just those three that you mentioned.
Yeah.
But all of them, their moves, it blows me away that I actually get to work with these people, and they know who I am, and like I said, I could never ever imagine that I'd be here today, and it is thanks to you guys and all of our fans, and when I'm at a show, if a fan wants a picture, they want an autograph, they just want to talk. That's what I love because that was me. That was me 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was that fan that was just in awe, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm still a fan. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm watching the show from behind the curtain or if I'm sitting in the seats. Like, I'm still a fan. Like,
they always say the biggest marks are behind the curtain, right?
What?
They always say the biggest marks are behind the curtain.
The biggest marks are behind the curtain, they say.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about Miami, because Keith and I saw him wrestle for the first time at the 40th anniversary outdoor show, WWWA. We were invited there initially by Brickhouse, and when I saw him, because Brickhouse is a friend of mine, and so I
An eternal love for Brick House, putting us
mucho love for Brick House for opening the
cool.
floodgates, so to speak. But anyway,
definitely.
Miami wrestled under another name, which I won't utter here. When we first saw him, and I saw something in him. Keith wasn't with me that time, but I saw something in him. I said, "Man!" And so I watched the entire card, and it was a fun show, outdoor show. Y'all did your thing. Y'all had to get. You were there with the Atkins boys. It was fun, and then the first thing I said to him was I talked about Miami, and I said he stood out to me as he could be going somewhere, and then he becomes between then and now he becomes Merrick Miami. He becomes the WWWA Extreme Champion. All right, has taken on all comers, and now he's taking on Matt Cardona like this Saturday. I mean, how do you think he feels right now?
I can only imagine how excited he is, because you know what, we all get nervous, but I've seen him in so many matches, not only at WWA but at SWO, and he is always on point. He's one of my favorites to watch. Doesn't matter if he's a face, if he's a heel, he is always on point. His moves are amazing, and I honestly cannot wait for this show because I've been waiting for it for months now. I just know he's going to be amazing, and we're going to be seeing him in the big times soon, I want to say.
Well, I agree 110%. I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way. You watch him every show, he's better than the last show he was at. And you talk to him, and he is just the most down-to-earth, amazing, giving kind of person. He is, and that's why he's such a great heel, right? Because I don't want to ruin his gimmick or anything, but you talk to him, and he's not that guy. He's not that dickhead that comes out to the ring. He is just such a personable, friendly, good person. I always love at every show now, intermission. If I don't see him beforehand, I always see him at intermission. We always spend about 5 minutes chatting. He's just one of my favorite people in general right now. And I shouldn't be saying that and crapping on his gimmick, and I apologize. I'm sorry. He's a bastard. What am I saying?
Yeah,
he's a bastard.
He's a bastard.
He's the worst.
And did you see that? I wanted to slap him in the face. No, I'm kidding. All right. So, what does the future? I hate asking this question because I know different people take it the wrong way, and I don't mean any offense to you at all. But sum it up in a sentence. What does the future hold for Chloe Rain?
I see a transformation Chloe's going to be having. Not sure when. Can't even give you a guesstimate of when. But you're definitely going to see a transformation, a reevaluation of Chloe. It might be as a manager. It might be as a wrestler. I'd rather keep everybody on their toes, but I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. But Chloe will definitely be a little bit
reinvented?
Yes, thank you. Yes, Chloe will definitely be a little bit reinvented. So just keep your eyes out on me because big things are coming.
I love it. Because to me, that's the essence of the business, right? I mean, I'm not going to ever say the athletics are not important because, of course, the athletics are important. But the story, the passion, the character, that ability to bring people on a journey, on a ride. And that's why I'm always going to be the guy that says, that's amazing that you can do 15 Hurricane Ranas in a match, that you can do a tombstone, that you can jump off and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not going to matter unless the story is there. Unless look at Jake Roberts is a perfect example of this, right? I know Jake Roberts, obviously.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Right. Many things we could say bad about Jake. One thing you could always say that was important about Jake. Jake was never the greatest worker in the world, but you put a microphone in his hand, you give him a story to tell, and you are captivated for the time that he has that microphone, the time he's telling that story. And even if he goes out and has a mediocre match athletically, after that, you don't see it as mediocre because he told you such a story beforehand that you're looking at it as, did he fulfill the story? Did he give me what he promised me in that? And that, to me, is the essence of wrestling. That's what elevates wrestling above other athletic endeavors. Other athletic endeavors, you got to hope that a story takes shape, that you have a story to tell. In wrestling, you start and end with that story.
Well, speaking of stories, the entire story of Chloe Rain, I don't think has even begun.
No,
and
I think
from what we've seen so far, I can't wait to see this come into fruition. And I can't, and we're gonna be around. Good evening, Joe. Good evening, Joe. Thanks for joining us, brother. What's up? I see you out there, Joe. There's one last question I have to ask you before we let you go, Miss Rain, and that is the entrance. I gotta ask. Every entrance you do, and I know this might change when you are in the process of reinventing yourself, but every entrance you do, you scream at the top of your lungs as soon as you come through the curtain. Why?
That's simple. I want people on their feet. My boys are coming out. I want everybody to know, hey, here comes Chloe. That means there's, two amazing wrestlers coming right out behind her. So they know my voice. They know, let's get up on our feet. Let's cheer for Rob and Brian. And I just like cheering for them. So I'm going to be loud. I want everybody to hear me. And, it gets me pumped. It gets the crowd pumped. And it gets Brian and Rob pumped. And that's what you want to do as a manager. You want to be there for whatever you can do. If you can't do anything in the ring, you can at least get those fans, pumped up, popped, and ready for your wrestlers.
Well, the professor and I wish you nothing but the best, my dear, and I hope that whatever you want out of professional wrestling, you get. And I can't wait to be ringside, whether it be in Quakertown, whether it be in Hamburg, or whether it be wherever the hell else you are, because it's going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely.
And, I want to thank you guys for this opportunity to get my story out there and, to get my name out there as a manager, especially female manager, and a face manager. Sometimes it's not easy to get your name out there and let people know who you are and what your story is, and even to get new talent. It's not always easy. Especially me, I'm a little bit more reserved when I'm not screaming my brains out during a match. So, if anybody is looking for a manager, hit me up.
She's recruiting, Keith.
She is.
On Facebook.
You can find her on Facebook under Chloe Rain. It's very easy to find her. Send her a text, send her a message, send her a picture, whatever you want to send her. And I'm sure she'll get back to you. Professional wrestlers out there who are interested in being managed.
Clean and respectful, though.
Respectful, yeah. Why do you got to mention that stuff? All right.
I'm just saying, some men are, not gentlemen like we are.
Chloe, don't go away. Keith, talk for a minute. I want to say goodbye to her, but I'm going to mute the phone because my phone's about to die.
And, going back to what Chloe was saying at the end there, I mean, what a boulder up the hill, she's trying to push. And you got to give her respect for that, right? Because if you think about it, how many female managers do we have throughout history? I mean, Sherry immediately springs to mind, of course, because Sherry. But when you go beyond Sherry, how many really broke through? And not only that, she's trying to be a babyface manager. Baby faces don't tend to have managers, right? Because the manager role was more like the snidely heel, Jimmy Hart, Bobby Heenan, Robert Fuller, that you might remember more as Colonel Rob Parker from WCW. It's usually the role of the guy that, the babyface gets a little close to the rope. I'm going to grab his leg and see if I can trip him a little bit. Or, I'm going to jump up on the apron and distract the referee. And especially if there's a tag team, I'm going to distract the referee while my boy is either doing a legal tag or they do an illegal double team or something. The psychology is very tricky for a babyface manager. And especially in Chloe's position, because people would probably think, well, the only way to do anything for her is going to be to play damsel in distress or something like that, which, as we all know, it's certainly a very, sexist and limiting role, and we don't want to see something like that. So, I applaud the crap out of Chloe for saying, hey, I'm taking the boulder, the biggest boulder I can find, and I'm going to push it up that hill. And again, what did we talk about before, right? The story, innovation of the story. She has staked out a very difficult story to tell. And won't it be incredibly rewarding as fans if you can get to Quakertown, if you can get to Hamburg, if you can get to wherever she's going to be working and watch her tell that story, watch her push that boulder up the hill and see what happens. I'm looking forward to it.
I didn't know you were that much of a Chloe Rain fan, Keith.
I'm a fan of what she's trying to do out here.
That's great.
It's one thing to say, hey, I've got a spot on the show. It's a good spot. It's a secure spot, and she definitely has that. But she's not content to do that. She's saying, hey, I want to do more. I am going to take the initiative to do more. I love initiative.
On a personal note, she is a very humble and very friendly and nice person. You and I love wrestling, but we don't have that unbridled drive to step into the ring, right? So we're perfectly content sitting out here and enjoying it from ringside. We're not going to jump into the ring, so we have to live vicariously through her and others like her, where we see them. We last night we talked to Matt Quay after his match, and he was so excited that we were there in support, and he was so excited to hear what we had to say about his match. Chloe, I commend her a million % for getting in with Mark and getting back in it and training and going, doing what she's got to do so that she belongs in that ring. So she's not just sitting on the outside being, as she called herself, a cheerleader. She's more than a cheerleader. She's going to end up in the ring, and she's going to take on some of these females that we've seen take on, and some of these females that Mark has trained. And, who knows what happens from there, but it's going to be fun to watch, like you said. And it was such a pleasure to have her. And, again, also on a personal note, and I didn't want to mention this when she was here, but she knows my family. She used to work with my mother before she got into wrestling. And my mother wanted to give her a huge shout out. I told my mother that I would, but I didn't want to make her feel weird on the thing. Plus the fact that we couldn't see her reaction versus hearing her reaction on the phone, which was weird. And so when I muted and you were talking about the Bobby Brain Heenans and all that stuff, I said goodbye to her, and I also told her personally, I said, and on a personal note, my mom wanted to say hi, and she had a big, huge smile on her face, and she goes, oh my God, I miss her so much. She was such a nice person. So that's cool. So I got a personal interest in Chloe Rain succeeding in professional wrestling, and I wish her nothing but the best. And if you want to see her, she let the cat out of the bag that she will be in Quakertown this Saturday, and so will we. At the Q Mart in Quakertown. The doors open at 5:30. There is a meet and greet with Matt Cardona from 4 to 6 for 2 hours if you want to get Matt Cardona's autograph, if you want to take photo ops. Uh-huh.
And why wouldn't you? I mean,
yeah,
Matt
if you want
Cardona,
Matt Cardona, formerly known as
as formerly known as Zack Ryder, and say what you want about
formerly known as Zack Ryder. So if you're a fan of his and you want to meet him, he's going to be there at 4:00. But the bell is open for everybody else at 5:30, and bell time is at 7 because that gives an hour for them to get ready in between the meet and greet, which ends at 6, and the actual matches get going at 7. So Dino was smart there because
it can be a little different setup. So
right, and I heard it's right. So I think he's trying to set it up to where there's more people, and which makes sense because you got to have more people for this kind of thing. It's going to be fun. It's Triple WA's. Be careful what you wish for. Live at the Quakertown Farmers Market, Quakertown, Pennsylvania, on Saturday, September 25th. Doors open at 5:30, but if you want to meet Matt Cardona, that opens at 4:00. So go, show up, and if anything, have a great night with us. And we're going to have a ball there, I'm sure. We'll be in front row. We'll see the JT Cages. We'll see the Tony Batistas. Tony Batista's taking on Theo Ivory. We're going to see.
Looking forward to that match.
We're going to see former champion Wyndham Winthorpe III take on young Nico Gray. Remember that guy who's
very well.
Who's starting to make a name for himself in Triple WA.
Has his eyes firmly set. He has set it here, and I've talked to him at the shows, and he has confirmed what he said here. He has not wavered. His eyes are set firmly on Mr. JT Cage and the United States Hardcore Championship.
Correct. And speaking of the original family, JT Cage and company will be taking on the Cult in a rematch. But in this case,
dude, I think you said his name 3 times.
Who? JT Cage. But in this case,
his name. He's gonna show up.
JT Cage. Two of the combatants will be dog collared. 2 of the combatants will be tied together at the wrists, and then the other 2 will be free. So this should be an interesting 6-man tag because I don't think I've ever seen that in any.
It's never been done.
No, it's innovative.
I believe Triple WA is absolutely correct in saying this has never ever been done before.
I just hope the dog collar guys don't get tied up with the wrist guys, and I don't know.
I am a little curious about how the logistics of this are going to work, as much as I'm curious about who gets what, who's going to be strapped, who's going to be dog collared, and who's going to be free. I mean, I have some ideas about that, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, you're right. I can't say JT Cage's name anymore because he will show up. But I was trying to give you as much of the card as I can remember. I could probably pull it up here.
Did they announce the full thing? I don't know if they've announced the full card yet.
They did. They have it out. Okay. They have it out. It's out.
We got a few minutes. Let's see if we can sell some tickets.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's from what I've been told is he's kind of pretty much sold out.
I can imagine.
But let me see if it's on. See, it's not on. It's not on Cages. Let me try Miami's. I went on the Triple WA page and there's nothing there. It's something from July. They got to update that page.
The July show was. Oh no, the July they didn't have the problems so much. The July show was the August show. They had a lot of problems, and I give a ton of props to the talent, like I did then. You know, that was a tough show. That was definitely a card subject to change situation, and everyone performed magnificently. With being asked to make some last minute substitutions, and if I didn't have the inside scoop that had happened, or I hadn't read the card beforehand, I would have never known the way everybody just pulled it together and made it happen. You know, that's a special in Triple WA.
It is. So you obviously have Merrick Miami versus Matt Cardona. You have the original family versus the Colt. You have Tony Batista versus Theo Ivory for the title.
That will be on the line.
Correct.
Big match, Theo.
It
Probably
is.
the match of Theo's career so far.
You have the Atkins brothers both in singles competition against two different opponents.
And who are those opponents?
You have, huh?
And who are those opponents?
I'm not sure.
You don't have something up for that?
Oh, okay, I got it. Never mind, I got it.
Don't be rude to their opponents. You know better than that.
Hold on. I just got an anonymous tip.
Oh. Hot news. Hot news.
Yeah. It's going to be a rough day for Ivory. There's Tony Batista. Hey, what's up, champ?
The champ.
My phone died. I can't even look it up, but
Oh,
thank you, anonymous tip, for saying that I have to go to Worldwide Wrestling Association, not Alliance. But as I started to look it up, literally my phone died, and that's why I cut my phone call with Chloe Rain short. But yeah, the champ says it's going to be a rough day for Ivory. Do you agree with that, Keith?
I do. I mean, look, if I say a bad word against Tony Batista, who, let's face it, wise to this show, who was the first person that watched him wrestle and said he needs to come on this show? I think it was this guy. I think it was.
You're going to take credit for that? I walked right up to Tony and I said, Tony.
Oh, you got
literally
it.
Like I've known him for years.
Yeah. You got it.
I walked up to him and said, Tony, we do this wrestling podcast and I'd love to have you on as a guest. And this was way before he was champ. And he was like, oh yeah, man, anytime. And then come to find out,
we're no bandwagon jumpers here.
Yeah, and then come to find out, Tony Batista's is champion in like 3 or 4 different places. But
no talent. We don't even need your resume. We know
he says, like, seriously, you don't even understand. I'm thinking he's looking to beat down, not just to win, but to beat down the T-Time champion.
I would say so, and I know I've talked to Tony before, and I don't want to say this in a way that's going to besmirch anybody, but I do know, having talked to Tony after prior matches with Theo, I think Tony's got some things that he wants to prove to himself when it comes to Mr. Ivory.
Sure.
And I'm sure Mr. Ivory probably feels the same way. I think there's some things, competition-wise, artistry-wise, these guys want to prove to each other.
And Tommy Vex is defending his title against Greg the Mechanic Manuel.
He is. Former Brickhouse Club members collide. It makes you wonder if that's maybe part of the reason that, Greg left, is that, let's face it, that was his stablemate. Was he going to get that opportunity at the championship if they had both stayed within the Brickhouse Club?
Right.
Food for thought. Not saying he wouldn't have, just saying usually it's pretty much, hey, if we have the same manager, we don't compete with each other.
All right, I'm on the website here, and I got a full card.
Excellent.
If you wish to hear the full card, are you ready?
Yeah, let's run it down for the people.
Okay. It is Matt Cardona versus Merrick Miami, the original family versus the Colt in a first ever dog collar / strap match. Oh, wait.
We're going to all have to be very mobile and have our running shoes on for that one, I'm thinking.
And that's as much as they give you.
Yeah.
Of course. Card subject to change, it says at the bottom of that. So,
Yeah, we know
but,
that. That's just the
but anyway,
nature of
that's neither here nor there. I do know that Tommy Vex is taking on Greg the Mechanic Manuel.
I did
We
see
know,
that.
we know Tony Batista is taking on Theo Ivory. We know that the Atkins boys are in singles competition against two different opponents. We know Wyndham Winthorpe III is taking on Nico Gray. So, I mean, if that's not enough to bring you on here, and what's next for Brickhouse? I mean, you know, that plus the main event of Matt Cardona and Merrick Miami. If you're not going to be there, I don't know why you're not.
Yeah, guys, if you're within driving distance of this show, come on.
No offense to him or full offense. I don't really care. I'm going to expose everyone I come across.
Wow.
Words from the champ.
Words from the champ. Harsh words. I gotta say, the champ. Well, a little bit.
You got to have the edge, Keith. All right.
No, yeah,
He's
definitely.
Mr. Happy, nice guy. High five in the crowd, yes. But when he's in that ring, he's business.
He is, and I think it's starting to bleed over. I think the responsibilities of the championship are really starting maybe to hit Mr. Batista. And he has been a fighting champion. I mean, there has not been one show since he won that title that he has not defended it. And last month, he had a tough challenge. I think he's starting to wake up to exactly what he has committed himself to there, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what that does.
Well, we're getting out of here. We're all excited. We cannot wait till this Saturday. And of course, I need not say there is no Around the Turnbuckle this Saturday because the professor and I will be ringside to watch some ass whooping going on, all kinds of mayhem, including Matt Cardona versus Merrick Miami. Be careful what you wish for, Mr. Miami. Down at the Q-Mart, Quakertown, September 25th. Get your tickets however you can get your tickets, but I'm sure it's damn near close to sold out, and I can't wait to see everybody we normally see, our normal friends down there, the WWWA faithful, as I like to call them, will be in attendance and will be rocking the house. Keith, one last thing I want to ask you before we get out of here.
Okay.
Something that's been on my mind about this. Since Merrick Miami is one of our own, as far as, and when I say our own, I don't mean me and you. I mean the WWA fans. When he takes on Matt Cardona, who do the fans root for there?
You know, I've been curious about that too. Mr. Cardona has not been the nicest man in the lead up to this match.
Right.
I gotta say, his last comments where he publicly asked Mr. Miami what his finish was so he could kick out of it. I've seen Merrick Miami say and do some pretty despicable and disrespectful.
I wouldn't say despicable. I wouldn't go that far.
When you never go that far.
He does win a lot of his matches cleaned, but there are some times where he needs a little bit of the edge. And of course, he calls the
every so often.
And of course, he calls the fans what he wants to call a fan. His relationship with the fans are he don't give a damn because he knows he's that good. But I think in this case, I think those fans will be 100% behind Merrick Miami to whoop Always Ready Matt Cardona. And I bet you that there'll be at least 6 to a dozen T-shirts in the audience with the words, "Been ready." Hashtag been ready for Mr. Miami.
I think that is very
because
possible.
always what you're stepping in the ring with.
Yeah, I think Mr. Cardona, if he's walking into this thinking he's got an easy night and he's just going to cakewalk through this, brother, I don't think you've studied enough tape.
Yep.
I don't think you've reckoned with the evolving performer that you're working with.
Yep.
Because we know where we saw Merrick Miami a year or so ago.
Yeah.
He's not that guy anymore.
Right.
He is so much better than that guy. Matt Cardona, do not take him lightly.
Special thanks on that note. Special thanks to everybody that chimed in, including Mr. Joe Dudley and the Triple WA champion, Tony Batista. My thanks to Chloe Rain for her time and hearing her story. It was so glad we were able to figure that out when we had the difficulties. So I'm glad we got to hear her story. We will see everybody who's watching this show and everybody who supports Triple WA in Quakertown on Saturday. And
Come
with that,
say hi. We love to hear from you.
Come say hi. Absolutely. And with that, we shut it down.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you gonna do, brother? Oh, yeah! Woo! What? If you smile